right. We're going to a game 7 from this series. Boston was looking to put it away last night in Philly. Picked this up in the second. Jayson Tatum closely. Tatum coming around the screen, and he comes around a little gimpy. Now, Paul George knocks down the shot. He had 23, but you saw Tatum there. He's trying to loosen it up. It's his left calf. I'll remind you, it was the right Achilles that he tore. We'll talk more about this a little bit later. Tatum stayed in the game through this. That's Tyrese Maxey, who had himself an unbelievably good night. Sixers were up by 9 at the half. Early in the third quarter, Sixers lead is 11. Alan, watch this pass. Look at this.
Oh, yes, the behind-the-back bounce pass, a great cut, and it just shows you Embiid also a facilitator more instead of taking all the shots. That's his best role with this offense.
Celtics on the other end, and look at the defense.
Yeah.
We got a rejection, and then Shams are going on the other way, and it's VJ for a 15-point lead.
I mean, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Paul George, they kept this team in this series. Now Joel Embiid is taking it to another level.
Now, this is Tatum in the third quarter, headed to the locker room. We need to talk about that in a minute. In the meantime, late in the third, it's Maxey again. He would score 30. Embiid had 19 points, 10 boards, and 8 assists.
Filthy.
Look at this finish.
I mean, Michael Wilbon said it yesterday. Maxey can take over a game. Sixers have played really well. They have turned this into a series, but the series has been defined by Boston and their ability, or lack thereof, to shoot the three. Simply put, in their 3 wins, all by double digits, they're shooting 42% from 3. In their 3 losses, all by double digits, they're shooting 28% from 3. Sometimes it's Occam's razor. The most obvious explanation is the right explanation. Wendy, it brings me back because a year ago in the playoffs when these teams played, all we really remember from that series now is that Jayson Tatum got hurt. But before he did, all we were talking about was Boston, I'm going to use the word, their arrogance with these threes. They just refuse not to take them. Your thoughts, Wendy?
Arrogance and stubbornness, because look, they won their championship 2 years ago playing this way. And one thing that Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum do, they obsessively hunt mismatches. So when they're not hitting their 3, they force a switch and they won't move the ball. They get into just one-on-one basketball. That happened last night as well. That's playing into Philly's hands. Now, Tatum and Brown have a very long history of playing in Game 7s. They've actually played in 7 of them. They're 5-2. They just beat Philly a few years ago. But they have also had some stinkers. And if they go into Game 7 and try to play isolation basketball, that will be playing into Philly's hands.
Okay. Now, the really important, obviously, Game 7, Sixers and Celtics, that storyline writes itself. But you see it right there. Jayson Tatum leaves in third quarter with apparent left leg injury. He is coming off the right Achilles tear. Shams, this feels to me, in its own way, like even more important than the series. What are they saying about Tatum?
It's positive right now. Everyone in Boston is downplaying anything with Jayson Tatum, that this was even an injury. Joe Mazzulla denied that it was an injury at all.
Right.
Jayson Tatum said after the game that it was just stiffness that he felt in his leg. I'm told Jayson Tatum told some teammates after the game he's fine, he's good to go. So I think the expectation in Boston is Game 7, Jayson Tatum is all good.
That's good. And obviously, doesn't make any difference who you're rooting for. There's nothing on earth we want to see less than Tatum be hurt. Again, it was my old friend and colleague Mark Schlereth who was the first one who ever said it to me. The human body is the perfect compensation machine. So when you have something somewhere that you're somewhere else in your body, you don't even realize it sometimes, is compensating for it. Monica, I see you nodding along. It makes me nervous when I see Jayson Tatum like that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so, Greeny. I think we got to take him at his word, right? Like that he's okay, and we'll have to see what this looks like in Game 7. And I get the Celtics piece of it all, but I got to be honest, I'm so impressed with the Sixers. Greeny, you and I were sitting there after Game 1, and we were like, is this series just going to allow the Celtics to get even more of a ramp up for Jayson Tatum? And now we've got a Game 7. So this, I think the Eastern Conference has been way more entertaining than most anticipated going in.
It also shows you how wide open it is, which lends to what you said the other day about how the Knicks, the road is there for them. And then the matchup, whatever they get in the second round, it might determine whether or not they can get there. But with Boston, it's the threes, and we've talked about it. But there's another story going on in this series that you've got to pay attention to with what Nick Nurse and the Sixers have taken away from them, which is a strength, offensive rebounding. That is their strength. Along with the threes, they also, when they miss a three, their wings get after long rebounds, get a second opportunity, and look at the second chance point difference. Again, when it comes to the 2 wins in 3 and 4 versus the 2 losses in 5 and 6, they're not getting those offensive rebounds anymore, and they're missing more shots. So how is that possible? It's because of what the Sixers are doing. Their activity from the wings and the guards has made a huge difference.
This has turned into one of the best first rounds, just top to bottom, that I can remember in recent years, and we will get at least one Game 7, and that will be tomorrow night in Boston, Celtics and Sixers. We have all these.
He's going to have a good time with this. There's Shaq, a funeral for Harry the Hawk. Shaq is giving the Hawks mascot CPR.
Oh.
Kenny's waving the white flag. You got to have fun. You got to have fun.
It's so hard to say goodbye to our. Oh, jeez. Gonna miss you, Harry.
That's the voice of an angel.
He certainly tried to hit the high note.
The songbird of a generation. Well, when you're that tall, the note's going to be unreachable for most. Let's get to the Timberwolves. Let's get to the Knicks. Minnesota with a chance. The Knicks. The Nuggets. Minnesota with a chance to end the season for Nikola Jokic. And Jaden McDaniels was a big reason why. Second quarter, knocking down the mid-range. He's walking the walk after just talking so much talk during the series. Terrence Shannon Jr., TSJ.
That's insane.
Living as you say.
Come on, ATR.
ATR.
That's above the rim.
Above the rim.
Come on.
Jokic blocked by Rudy Gobert. What is French for no?
No.
I think that's it.
That's
I
what
think
it is.
that's what it is. He has 4 Defensive Player of the Years, and he's showing why. Gobert said, this is what you don't really teach. It's about will. It's about heart. Well, it's about the two-man game here for the Nuggets. The give and go. Jokic to Jamal Murray. Jokic, his 19th career playoff game, 25 points, 10 or more dimes. One of them there to Cam Johnson, a triple. He had 27. Denver kept it a 2-point game. And McDaniels has a defensive nickname. It's called seatbelt because he can lock his opponents down. Maybe that's what Dante DiVincenzo needs. He's cheering on from the scooter.
He's on that scooter.
Remember, he's recovering from the torn Achilles. There's no Ant-Man in this game, and yet the Timberwolves would lead by 8 after 3. Jokic and Jaylen Clark, top of the key, right side of the screen. Clark was about that action.
Somebody needs to let Jaylen Clark know about Jokic's brothers.
Yeah, they were probably.
You do not want that smoke, dude.
That's a good point. Jokic and Clark would get attacked, and so would Naz Reid, who would come over and just give a little shove. So I pushed it. Gobert and Shannon Jr. Oh, little give and go. There were 8 dimes for Gobert. How many francs? How many euro is that? I don't know. But DiVincenzo, the worst part of those casts, you get a little tickle on your toe.
Oh, dude, impossible
Can't reach
to
it.
get to.
Alex Rodriguez is like, I've been a part of a 3-2 series that's gone the wrong way. It wouldn't happen this time. These aren't the 04 Red Sox. McDaniels, a career high 32 points. Minnesota 110-98. They get the Spurs in the next round.
Senior NBA writer Brian Windhorst gracing us with his presence this morning. Windy, great to see you. What's your perspective on both of these teams this morning? Let's start with Minnesota.
This is, I mean, look, they don't have exactly an incredible history of playoff success, but this is a crowning achievement in the history of the Minnesota franchise. And I say that not condescendingly because they're missing their top 3 guards. No Ayo Dosunmu, a late scratch for this game. They are significant underdogs, and they come out and deliver an incredible performance. Jaden McDaniels, the game of his life. Rudy Gobert, this has been a career-verifying series. What he did at both ends of the court in this series, particularly on defense against Nikola Jokic, absolutely incredible that they were able to get this victory. Everybody who was at this game will remember it. In the case of the Nuggets, they are really at a gut-check moment. After winning that championship 4 years ago, they have failed to get back to the conference finals. This is something that is really disappointing. Last 2 years, 7-game series losses. This year can't get out of the first round when they're given a great opportunity with the other team totally decimated by injuries. And the big thing for them, this is an organization that has avoided the luxury tax. They are going to be a taxpayer next year if they bring this roster back together. I don't see them doing that. And more importantly than all that, Nikola Jokic has 1 year now left on his contract. They can offer him a $300 million contract extension this summer, which they will. Will he sign it? He said last night he wants to be a Nugget for life. He can back that up. We'll see.
All right, meanwhile in the East, there will be a Game 7 in Boston tomorrow night. Sixers dominate the Celtics in Game 6, just like they did down the stretch in Game 5. So what makes this Game 7 matchup, Brian, so compelling?
Well, the Sixers' history is a little bit more rich than the Timberwolves, but this is really still remarkable that they have fought back in this series to force this Game 7. Boston, this is when they're at their worst, guys. When Boston doesn't hit their threes, they just go flat as an offense, and they just went flat defensively too. We saw the Sixers repeatedly able to generate good looks in the half court. They didn't even play that great. I mean, Embiid was 6 of 18. They just played a very clean game, avoided turnovers, avoided shooting themselves in the foot. Boston, specifically Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, were matchup hunting in this game. I will say this. Tatum and Brown together, they've got a lot of Game 7 experience. They've played in 7 of them. They're 5-2. They beat Philly 3 years ago. But they will need to play a much smarter game to get through the next round after what they've put themselves through now.
The lack of bench production can't happen for Boston as well. We'll see who steps up in Game 7 besides Brown and besides Tatum. Brian Windhorst always stepping up with us on SportsCenter. Thank you, Brian.